The brother of a man killed on Bloody Sunday says he believes other soldiers will soon be arrested. A former paratrooper known as Soldier J was arrested yesterday. It's understood he's being questioned on suspicion of the murders of 3 people: William Nash, Michael McDade and John Young. John Kelly, whose brother Michael was among those killed on Bloody Sunday, has been speaking to our reporter Freya McClements, and he began by telling her how he felt when he heard the news of the arrest.
I'm delighted. I'm over the moon, because if you take into consideration Bloody Sunday happened nearly 44 years ago, and this is the first soldier to be arrested for Bloody Sunday. This is a massive day for the families and for the city too as well. That after that, this length of time, we now have a soldier in a police station at the moment being questioned about his actions on the day itself.
A huge day, obviously, for the Nash, the McDade, the Young families, the soldier who's been arrested being questioned in connection with the deaths of those 3 men. For the rest of the families, though, you've always said that you've wanted prosecutions. Does this bring that one step closer for your family's case?
Most definitely. Like, I've always looked at the fact that my brother Michael's death is no different to the rest who died on Bloody Sunday. And when I see what happened today, it gives us great heart, and that we have come to this stage. So it was a great step forward for the families, and it was a major development as far as we are concerned. And the families have all stood by each other over the years, and we will continue to do so. And every soldier that is brought in, it will certainly make my day, and every time I hear that another soldier, another shooter on the day of Bloody Sunday is being questioned by the PSNI. Then we'll see what the outcome is. As we know, Jay is now being questioned at the moment. We'll have to wait and see what the outcome of this question, where it comes from. But the fact that he was arrested and he's been questioned under caution, that certainly puts him in the frame of being a suspect. And we're over the moon that this has actually happened.
The fact, as you say, that he was arrested rather than simply brought in for questioning, to you, that's very significant.
Very much so. We do know that they've interviewed other British soldiers and paras on the day, but as far as we know, they weren't arrested, but these guys were. This guy was arrested. At the same time, we have to wait now to see what comes out of this questioning, where we go from here.
Other soldiers will be arrested, will be questioned. Are you confident of that?
Most definitely, because there's no other direction they can go. They started the process today. There are 26 shooters. There's 29 in total, but 3 of them have died. And I do believe that those 26 shooters will be questioned by the PSNI. And I cannot think in any other way. People have said to me in the past, you have no chance. They'll never even be questioned. I never believed that. We are here today. Now the next stage, let's see them in a court of law being prosecuted. And to me, that would be fantastic. We have been told today that Soldier J is now in police custody, being arrested and interviewed under caution. That is incredible. Really incredible. And I can hear it when I'm talking to the families. They're saying to me, God, John, this is brilliant. And so it is.
As far as you're aware, are other arrests imminent?
Well, we were told last September that mid-October they'll be interviewing 7 or 8 of the shooters. So I take it for granted over the next couple of weeks we'll have more in. And hopefully it happens on a daily basis, as far as I'm concerned, because the sooner these guys are all arrested and questioned, the sooner we can see the end of the process.
John Kelly with his reaction to the arrest yesterday, speaking to Freya McClements. Peter Madden from Madden and Finucane Solicitors represents most of the Bloody Sunday families. He told me he expects further arrests.
Well, in this particular case, it's confined at the moment as the Lance Corporal confined to the area around the rubble barricade on Rossville Street, which the tribunal described as a Sector 3. Now, in that sector, there's another Lance Corporal, Corporal P. And Corporal P has also a serious suspicion about him in relation to these 3 murders. murders at the rubble barricade. So I would expect other arrests. There's another soldier, a Corporal E, who is now dead. So those 3 soldiers in that particular area were the main suspects, and they were subject in relation to that.
Although nothing in the Saville report can be used in a court of law, isn't that right?
Well, the Saville report is the basis for the investigation because of the findings, and the findings were based on evidence that Lord Saville gathered in, and the police would be looking at that evidence as well. So, I mean, it's not as if they're starting from scratch.
We're 3 years in now, Peter. Are you surprised that this has taken so long to get to this stage?
It is a very big case. Am I surprised it's taken so long? Not really. You know, I mean, it is a massive case, and we do know that the investigation team have been questioning witnesses, civilian witnesses, and have been questioning and interviewing other soldiers who were not suspects. So we don't know what exactly what work the police do in a police investigation. Nobody knows that. Normally, the public are not privy to the ins and outs, the detail of a police investigation. But in this case, the police have been keeping the families regularly updated.
Some members of the Bloody Sunday families think that this is the beginning of the end in their campaign for justice. We've heard from John Kelly already this morning, who says he has been given great heart, as he puts it. He says this arrest is very significant. Do you think this is the beginning of the end for their journey? Well, it's all about accountability. And Prime Minister Cameron made the famous speech after on the day of the Saville report publication. He made that famous speech, an apology. But there is accountability after that. And when there are findings that all the people who were killed on Bloody Sunday were innocent of any wrongdoing, there has to be accountability. Now, this is part of the accountability process that you're seeing now. Ultimately, John Kelly said that justice will come in the form of prosecutions. Many of the family members agree. Do you expect that to happen?
Well, it's a matter for, at the end of the day, it's a matter for the prosecution service to decide on that. But I think there's a very strong case here, and we made detailed submissions to the Public Prosecution Service, setting out where we think the case is made strongly against some of these soldiers, and I would expect prosecutions.
That was solicitor Peter Madden, who represents many of the Sunday family.
It's coming up to 8:10. This is Breakfast on BBC Radio Foyle. Detectives investigating the killings of 13 people on Bloody Sunday are continuing to question a former paratrooper known as Soldier J, who was arrested in County Antrim yesterday morning. The 66-year-old is the first person to be detained as part of the investigation into the events in Derry in 1972. It's understood he's been questioned on suspicion of the murders of 3 people: William Nash, Michael McDade and John Young. Our reporter Freya McClemens has been speaking to John's brother Leo, who's now 71, and she began by asking him how he felt when he heard the news.
He just says this soldier was arrested today on an ongoing inquiry into the murder of John, 42, and he will be arrested under caution.
What was going through your mind then when that officer was telling you on the phone? What were you thinking?
You get a whole flood of emotions come into my head, thinking way back as far as Woodbury and listening to certain soldiers coming.
This is the first step. This soldier is now being questioned. Soldier's a suspect in regard to the death of your brother and also 2 others, William Nash and Michael McDade. How would you feel if that soldier was prosecuted?
Well, what can you say? That is a natural, as I keep saying, it's a natural progression. If he committed a crime, he done what he shouldn't have done. It's the same applied to anybody. I'm not saying that only the soldiers have to be prosecuted, but they're not immune from prosecution. If an ordinary civilian killed somebody and they have enough evidence on him, he be prosecuted, and that's the next step. It has to happen.
You'd like to see him prosecuted and
Well, I'd like to
other
see him,
soldiers?
Yeah, I'd like to see him prosecuted simply because we've waited now for 42 years. We've actually listened to people saying, "Oh, the soldiers should not be prosecuted. They have to be prosecuted," and I feel sorry for anybody that doesn't get what we're getting, and some people never will. But that doesn't mean to say that because some Cameron says he was sorry in this, that should be the end of it. This is the next step, and if it be prosecuted, so else are good.
We're sitting here in your sitting room. There's a photo of John just above your head. There's another photo of John beside us. Do you think of your brother often?
Oh, would I? You know, and the reason why I always think of John's life was cut short. He's 17 years of age, the same as the rest of them kids. They had nothing, but that doesn't mean to say that they weren't going to go on. They deserved it. They love their lives. You would think now he would be married and he would have kids and all that. That was all to take it away from him. And that's what always goes into my head all the time.
What about you? You've spent more than 40 years.
71 now. I was 24 when John was killed. I had a lull, and then I went through all the sorrow. But this is a big step. It's a giant step, and we can only hope that it goes on.
How do you feel now this evening? As you say, it's a giant step. The first soldier to be arrested, and it's in connection with your brother's death. How do you feel?
Well, it overflows. Obviously, I feel for my brother, but I have to say I feel just as bad for everybody else.
That's John Young there, whose brother Leo was killed on Bloody Sunday, speaking to Freya McClellan.